News from around the I am Joy Akin Olamigoke. First, the major headlines. ASU urges. Another foreign scene, sacking of South Sudan's female foreign minister sparks debate. Ethiopia mega dam to start producing power next month. And on the world of sports, Messi breaks Pele goal scoring record. And moving on to the news in details. The Academic Staff Union of Universities today has called on the federal government to stop foot dragging on the adoption of the University Transparency Accountability Solutions as a reliable payment system for the union. ASU has equally said that it is worried over federal government's delayed tactics in releasing funds for the revitalization of public universities and the May 2021 tranche of hand academic allowances, adding that the union is warming up to continue its suspended industrial action should federal government continue with its present body language. The coordinator of Nsukka zone of ASU, Comrade Raphael Amokaha, disclosed these issues at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, during a press briefing at the end of the zonal meeting of the union, where it also deliberated on proliferation of universities by state government without requisite funding power and renegotiation of 2009 agreement with the federal government. The union also added that its national officers are working with the NUC to submit to the National Assembly a bill to amend the NUC Act, which would empower it to reduce the level of proliferation of universities by the state government. The Executive Secretary of National Land Development Authority, Mr. Paulie Kone, has said that the establishment of 109 integrated farm estates by the federal government has nothing to do with Ruga or ranches. Newsman reported that President Muhammadu Buhari had directed NALDA to establish integrated farm estates in all the 109 senatorial districts to boost food production across the country. Pan-Yoruba socio-political organization Afenifere, and in a statement by its spokesman Mr. Jari Ajayi, allegedly accused the federal government of attempting to bring back the rejected cattle colony and Ruga through the establishment of the farm estate. However, the NALDA boss who spoke to State House correspondent at Owerri International Cargo Airport today said that it has nothing to do with Ruga, adding that the president has mandated them to put the integrated farm estate in all the 109 senatorial districts after commissioning that of Daura. Director of Public Health in the State Health of Ministry, Dr. Ibrahim Adamu Alsan, who disclosed in an interview with journalists in Lafia, explained that since the outbreak of cholera in the state about 6 months ago, 892 cases have been recorded with 59 deaths. According to Dr. Alsan, the disease has been reported in 8 out of the 13 local government areas of Doma, Lafia, Wamba, Kokona, Obi Nasarawa, Toto, and Karu. He added that most of the communities that the diseases have been reported practice open defecation and lacked potable drinking water. However, Alsen has said that the state government are taking measures to condemn for the spread of the disease by involving a multi-sectorial approach, including expansion of sensitization campaigns and identification of the affected communities to provide them with motorized bottles, among others. The Director of Public Health, however, advised residents of the state to maintain hygiene and report cases promptly to the medical facilities around them for urgent calls. You are still listening to the news from around the world on T Solid Radio. Still to come is the foreign and sport news. Do remember to download our app T Solid on Play Store or log on to www.tsolid.tv. You can also follow us on our various social media platforms on our T Solid Radio TV. And moving on to the foreign scene, South Sudan's President Salva Kiir has sacked the country's foreign affairs minister. Beatrice Kamisa Wani Noah's dismissal was announced in a presidential decree read on Thursday night. No reasons were given for a removal from office. She has been replaced with Mayik Ayi Deng, the former Minister for Presidential Affairs who was sacked in June last year. The dismissal of Ms. Kamisa has generated social media frenzy among South Sudanese, both at home and in the diaspora. Some online users have condemned the sacking and replacement, with a man saying it is a blatant violation of the 35% affirmative action allocated to women in the Revitalized Peace Agreement. The Kenya military has joined police units to drive out attackers from the troubled Laikipia Nature Conservancy in the Rift Valley. Armed pastoralists have invaded the private protected area and have touched homes, as well as moved large herds of animals to graze on maize field. According to local reports, 7 houses were destroyed overnight, including two which belong to police reservists. Affected locals are suggesting there is a deliberate effort to drive some communities out of the region. Hundreds of people have been forced from homes where some have lived for decades in incidents which have been linked to growing competition over land and water. Two politicians, including a member of parliament, were arrested 2 days ago on suspicion of incitement. The African Union has suspended Guinea in the wake of Sunday School, a tweet from the AU's Political Affairs Peace and Security Department has announced. President Alpha Conde was overthrown by a group of soldiers led by Col Mamadi Domboya. According to the United Nations Secretary General, and the United States says the coup has been condemned by regional leaders as well as the African Union. But the military leaders have been met by a jubilant crowd on the streets of the capital, Conakry. Many expressed dissatisfaction with President Conde serving his third term and the corruption and economic mismanagement, where regional ministers are expected in Conakry to talk to the junta. Ethiopia has said that a controversial mega dam is building over the Blue Nile and will start generating electricity in a month. The announcement by the country's water ministry comes as the two downstream countries, Egypt and Sudan, continue to raise concerns that the dam will impact their essential water supplies. The $5 billion project is aimed at providing power to tens of millions of Ethiopians, a huge developmental change. Speaking to newsmen, Water Minister Sileshi Bekele has said that an initial 750 megawatts of electricity will be produced by two of the dam's turbines. The project has caused tension between Ethiopia and its neighbors, with Egypt and Sudan worried about droughts and water security. And on the world of sports, Argentina captain Lionel Messi scored twice to break Pele's record and become the leading international goal scorer in the history of South American football on Thursday. The Paris Saint-Germain forward opened the scoring for Argentina in their World Cup qualifier against Bolivia at the Monumental Stadium in Buenos Aires to tie Pele's mark of 77 international goals. The 34-year-old then struck his 78th international goal on 64 minutes to give Argentina a 2-0 lead. Messi's double came in his 153rd appearance for Argentina. And finally, World Cup. World Football, I beg your pardon, governing body, FIFA, on Wednesday provided the local organizing committee with the final go ahead to stage the maiden edition of the Aisha Buhari Invitational Women's Tournament, otherwise known as Aisha Buhari Cup. According to reports, the Six Nations Invitational is being organized in honor of the name and office of the First Lady of the Federal Republic, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari. In a letter dated September 8, 2021, and signed by Gordon Savic, head of qualifiers and international matches, the world body noted it has sanctioned the September 15 to 24th showpiece that holds at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena and Dagege Stadium in the city of Lagos, and featuring host Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana, Mali, Morocco, and South Africa's A women's teams. With this authorization, all is now clear for the commencement of the Six Nations showpiece starting on Wednesday, September 15th, with a clash between nine-time African champion Super Falcons and the female Eagles of Mali at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Unikon. With that, we've come to the end of the news. A recap of the major headlines. ASU urges federal government on adoption of Utah's as payment system. On the foreign scene, I read sacking of South Sudan's female foreign minister sparks debate. Ethiopia mega dam to start producing power next month. And on the world of sports, Messi breaks Pele goal scoring record. Ensure to go by all precautionary measures to stay safe from COVID 19, as recommended by the World Health Organization and the Nigerian Center for Disease Control. Do remember to download our app T-Solid on Play Store or log on to www.tsolid.tv. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on our T-Solid Radio TV. The news was compiled by Umibeku Buluwatife and edited by Akachi Chijoke. I am Joy Akin Olamigoke. Good afternoon and many thanks for listening.